They said it was just a rumor. A story buried deep within classified files. But then, this photo leaked. What you're about to see are real clips, moments the Army never wanted you to witness. Each one more disturbing than the last. We'll start with the least terrifying, and end with something that will haunt you long after the video fades. Because the final case is the one they tried hardest to erase. Number 15. In 1952, a U.S. Navy chief filmed something that shouldn't exist. Bright objects moved in formation over Tremonton, Utah. The Air Force called it unexplained. For decades, the footage was locked away in military archives. What you'll see tonight are real military recordings and leaked files once considered too disturbing for the public. Number 14. In 1950, a minor league baseball manager pointed his camera to the sky. What he captured would become one of the first military-analyzed UFO films in U.S. history. The Air Force tried to explain it, but couldn't. For years, the original footage disappeared, locked behind government doors. Low static buildup. Tonight, we uncover military images and leaked clips once buried under classified. Number 13. In 1990, two hikers in Scotland captured a photo the world was never meant to see. Moments later, the Ministry of Defense sealed it away. For over 30 years, the photo vanished, buried in government archives. Now it's here, exposed at last. Number 12. June 6, 1944. Thousands of soldiers stepped into the unknown. The invasion of Normandy, the moment history changed forever. These are the real recordings, filmed amid gunfire and fear. Some images were released, others were quietly locked away. What survived is haunting. Fragments of truth the world was never meant to replay. Number 11. In 2016, over the war-torn city of Mosul, a U.S. reconnaissance plane captured something impossible. A perfect orb, moving silently beside military targets. Analysts called it the Mosul Orb. No wings, no exhaust, no explanation. The image was classified, stored deep within intelligence archives, until the photo leaked, revealing what soldiers had seen but could never explain. And this was just one of many secrets the battlefield kept hidden. Number 10. July 2019, off the coast of San Diego. Crew members aboard the USS Omaha detected something moving underwater, then rising into the sky. A glowing orb, tracked, filmed, and confirmed by Navy intelligence. No flight path, no heat signature, just gone, brief. The Pentagon later verified the footage but offered no explanation. What exactly entered and left the ocean that night remains classified, and it was only one of several encounters the Navy couldn't explain. Number 9. April 2019. Sailors aboard the USS Russell spotted multiple objects hovering above the Pacific. Through night vision goggles, they looked like perfect triangles, silent, steady, unmarked. The footage spread across Navy channels before it was locked down. Months later, the Pentagon confirmed it was real, but offered no answers. Were they drones or something beyond known technology? The only certainty is that the Navy never caught them. Number 8. February 23rd, 1945, 6 men, 5 Marines, and 1 Navy corpsman lifted a flag above the ashes of Iwo Jima. Photographer Joe Rosenthal captured the moment that defined an entire war. Camera shutter sound. It became a symbol of victory, but behind it lay unimaginable loss. Thousands never made it off the island. This image survived when so many stories did not. And in its stillness, you can almost hear the ghosts of that mountain. Number 7. Between 2004 and 2015, Navy pilots captured what the Pentagon couldn't explain. No wings, no heat trail, just impossible movement. The footage, codenamed FLIR-1, GIMBAL, and GOFAST, remained classified for years. When it finally leaked, the Pentagon had no choice but to confirm its authenticity. Even the pilots who filmed it still don't know what they saw. And this was only the beginning of what would later be called the Navy UAP files. Number 6. Deep in the Brazilian Amazon, villagers of Colares began reporting lights descending from the sky. They called them chupa-chupas, beams that burned skin and left strange marks. The Brazilian Air Force launched Operation Prato to investigate. For months, military teams documented the lights, until their mission was abruptly shut down. When the files were finally released decades later, the photos were real. But what they captured remains unexplained. Number 5, December 1914. For one night, the war stopped. British and German troops met in the middle, unarmed. They exchanged gifts, shared songs, even played football in the snow. It became known as the Christmas Truce. By morning, the war resumed, but for those who were there, the silence of that night would never leave them. Number 4, January 1958, South Atlantic Ocean. A Brazilian Navy ship approached Trindade Island when crewmen saw something unusual. A silver disc, large, silent, and perfectly shaped, hovered above the water. A photographer on board captured 4 frames before it vanished into the clouds. The images were analyzed by the Brazilian Navy, then by the press. Decades later, no one could explain what was in those photos. But for those on deck that day, it was the moment the impossible became real. Number 3. The war was over, but one squadron photo revealed something impossible. Among the men of the Royal Air Force stood a familiar face, that of Freddy Jackson. He had died 2 days earlier in a propeller accident. Yet, there he was, smiling beside his comrades. The photograph was examined, verified, and never explained. More than a century later, the Freddy Jackson ghost remains one of the strangest relics of war. Proof of life beyond death, or a trick of memory frozen in time. Number 2, just after midnight, air raid alarms shattered the silence. The U.S. Army opened fire, convinced enemy bombers were overhead. But nothing ever fell. For hours, the sky blazed with explosions aimed at something no one could identify. Newspapers called it the Battle of Los Angeles. The Army said it was a false alarm. Witnesses swore it wasn't. And to this day, no one knows what the soldiers were really shooting at. Number 1. This image surfaced without context. A convoy, armed soldiers, and something inside the cage. No insignia, no date, no official report. Just this frame, leaked online, then removed hours later. Some say it's from a forgotten military experiment. Others claim it's part of a classified recovery operation. What's certain is that whatever was being transported wasn't meant to be seen.